Hey everyone, welcome to the Canadian Bowler Show. It's Mike Pituley here, joined by Darryl Fitzgerald. And today we have a special guest from Jamaica's Lawn Bowling Association, Horane Brown. Thanks for joining us, Horane.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. We spoke via email. I was very pumped to do this. We're doing a lot of work in Jamaica to try to move the sport forward. And, you know, any type of publicity we can get, we definitely appreciate it in regards to bowls. It's not a popular sport generally, but I definitely have to give thumbs up for the work that you guys have been doing.
Yeah, well, thanks very much for joining us. We do appreciate having you here on the show. One of the things we like to do when we start out a show is just kind of give you the floor, let you explain who you are, what your involvement is with lawn bowls. So I'll give you the floor here.
I no problem. My name is Horane Brown. I'm the president of the Jamaica Lawn Bowling Association. Officially, we're formed in 2018. After that, we did quite a lot of work to get a development membership with World Bowls. And we also were ratified by our local Olympic association. So we're heavily working with them in promotion of the sport. And of course, through that, we went to the Commonwealth Games in Australia a few years ago, and we have a team preparing now for Birmingham. So we're definitely looking forward to that. In terms of a background on me, I would say I'm a sports entrepreneur in a lot of ways. I have a football business where I'm a football agent where I represent players all across the world. We're in the process of trying to get some players into the Canadian Premier League, USL, MLS, Europe also in terms of England, Belgium, Spain, etc. So I have quite a long range in terms of markets, and we continue to work on that. I've also at some point been involved in radio broadcasting, so I'm not far from in regards to media. And I played a lot of sports when I was younger, and I've covered every single sport there. So I'm a full sports person in every single way.
That's quite impressive. So when the Jamaican Lawn Bowling Association was founded in 2017, just before the Games were being held in the Gold Coast. What was that process like? Was it really difficult to get the association made and move stuff forward?
It was. Well, so let me give you some backstory in terms of how I got involved in the first place. Now, as I said, I used to broadcast a radio show locally in Jamaica called In the Stands, and before that, I started Jamaica's first online portal in terms of covering sports called jsports.net. It's still up now, but we just basically do a deal that we have with a mobile company for persons to get updates on schoolboy football, which is big here, which is soccer, boys and girls champs, which is definitely growing, on our local football league, which is the Premier League. So from then, I think I formed the site probably like 08, 07, and then I formed a company called J Sports Multimedia along that, to basically do the business surrounding that. So we had a presence online, etc., in terms of covering sports in Jamaica. So I got a tweet at some point in regards to a lawn bowler in the UK that was trying to do some things in regards to playing for Jamaica, and we had discussions surrounding that. Then through that, I went into radio, and we would of course have him on and discuss certain things in regards to how to build a sport and how to move it forward. So the conversation started from then in terms of doing interviews and being a part of it in terms of trying to build it, so persons can know more about sport. Now, was it hard to officially form the association? Well, in terms of setting up the company, it wasn't that hard to a certain extent. I mean, now we went through the process of going to the company's office, etc., and forming it. Now, it was always a huge thing in regards to getting everybody involved to have an official setup. and then speaking to the authorities, which was kind of hard. So when we started the conversation, I think for around 2017 or probably before that. But when it was time to get into the last Commonwealth Games, the conversation was being had before, and it was with the previous Olympic president. I think it was Mike Fennell at the time, and he was long-standing. And because it was Olympic, Commonwealth sport, there was some interest. Now, when there was an election and a new president came in, which was Christopher Samudo, and we had a meeting with him. He supported us, and then from that gave us a traction to move forward in regards to setting up everything and trying to move forward as an official sport. The conversations continued to happen with the World Bowls, and they supported us from the standpoint that everybody loves Jamaica in terms of the vibes and the brand, and they wanted us to be a part of that. And overall, long term, we will of course help them to get into the Olympics, because Lawn Bowls wants to probably be a part of the Olympics for 2026 if it does happen in Australia, I think Brisbane. So with that, of course, you have to have votes, etc., on that type of thing. So it's a way to, of course, to get Jamaica involved, Jamaica supportive, of that in 2026 if that actually happens. And we've been working ever since based off that to continue to grow the sport.
Yeah, like the first times that I'd heard about the Jamaican Lawn Bowling Association was with Andrew Newell and his Reggae Rollers, Facebook page that he ended up creating, and he ended up being one of your athletes that went to the Commonwealth Games there in Gold Coast along with Mervyn Edwards. And it was actually quite the sight when he ended up winning that game against Robert Paxton in the singles. Like, it's quite a good memory, and there's good, it was a documentary on YouTube that you can watch about the two of them when they went. So I found that pretty inspiring. Is it something that you'd sort of alluded to it earlier, you guys are planning on sending a contingent to Birmingham this summer? Is that correct?
Yes, we are. In terms of what happened in the Gold Coast, I think that was significant to grow the sport. Obviously, we went there, we got a victory against a top bowls player, which a lot of people probably didn't think would have happened. So based off that, it gave us some traction to say, okay, fine, we do have bowlers of quality, and if given the chance, we can definitely do some things. So I was happy when they did it, and in terms of Merv and Andrew, in terms of how they performed in the Gold Coast, because it was significant for us. I sent out the press releases. I got traction on it. They were interviewed by the BBC. So it was definitely a good thing. Obviously, we definitely have long-term plans because although we got that victory, there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of developing a sport in a country that we want more people to play. And so from that perspective, we're trying to do that. And we're sending a team to the World Indoors in Bristol in April. And then after that, we'll be sending a team also to the Commonwealth Games for Birmingham. It probably won't be the names that participated at the Gold Coast, but we're still confident that we can still build a sport and be competitive. Yes.
That's awesome. I was actually there to watch them compete for the first time. It was amazing to see Jamaica at the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games competing in bowls where nobody had ever seen them before. It was just it's always nice to see new countries enter, and obviously to see the Jamaican colors. They're vibrant, and everybody was really, really happy to see them as part of it. For in Jamaica, you've got one facility that's in Westmoreland, I believe, and is there ideas to expand outside of that and have a few more facilities around the island?
Yeah, obviously we do have long-term plans. One is to start the schools league to get more persons here playing and introduce it to them, because a lot of our general players that come through other sports, whether it's football, cricket, etc., comes through a school system. So we want to see exactly what we can do there. No, we do have one facility in the island, and we have a contingent of persons who play there on a regular basis, which is definitely good for us that we have Jamaicans, playing the sport on a consistent basis. We do have long-term plans to put a facility in Kingston, and we have had events before where we have brought people into Kingston. We're partnered with, for example, the Hockey Federation, and we've used their turf facility in Kingston, and possibly there are other things, there are other turf facilities in Kingston that we could possibly use for other events. So, but obviously we want our own facility. We're trying to work that out the best way we can with World Bowls, the government, and also the Olympic Association to see exactly what type of funding we can get for that. But yes, that's definitely a long-term goal, of course. Yes.
Yeah, you talk about the support from World Bowls there, like getting the association off the ground there. How much support, or what has the support been like from World Bowls to get Lawn Bowls Jamaica created?
Well, as I said, they've been very open to us. Like they've helped us in every single way. I think they recognize the value that Jamaica brings, and they have supported us in every single way. We submit I think every 3 months we submit a report, progress report to them. They send their minutes specifically in terms of what's going on in the development of the sport. We're trying to get involved from a marketing perspective based on what they've sent to support the sport here. So I think they're all for us. Why wouldn't you want to expand the sport, into more countries? So, hopefully it continues to grow.
Considering that as far as South America goes and the Caribbean, we've got you guys who are an emerging group, and I think we have a couple groups in Brazil and Argentina that are growing as well. Do you see this as once Jamaica kind of starts expanding, that possibly more Caribbean nations will actually want to join in on the Lawn Bowls craze down there?
Yeah, I think I see that happening. I think St. Lucia has joined in already.
Oh, wow.
I think they came in after us. I definitely see that growing. In regards to the guy that's the president for Lawn Bowls Canada, I speak with him a lot, and he has some ideas surrounding the Americas in regards to putting everybody together. And he has a tournament being planned. It's still in the works. But it will, of course, include a lot of Caribbean and Central American countries who actually play the sport. So yes, long term, that's a plan I'm seeing coming from World Bowls through the president, because he's the president for the Americas, and through that they're trying to build it out here. I think there was some contact with Trinidad at some point in terms of them playing. Oh, wow. I'm not sure what it is, but I think overall, even coming from our Olympic Association, what they want us to do is, of course, to help to build out the Caribbean in terms of playing the sport. Yes.
That's good to hear. Like, I think one of the areas of the world that doesn't have quite enough countries for lawn bowling right now would be sort of the Caribbean and South America. So it's good to see that the development's starting to take place there, because getting the more countries makes Olympic recognition definitely easier for lawn bowls. Earlier in our conversation, you touched on the team that's going to the 2022 World Indoor Bowls Championship. So it looks like Robert Simpson and Marine Cesar are competing in the singles and then mixed pairs. So that team, pretty exciting to be going to there. So any sort of information you can give us on preparations or anything they're doing for that event?
Yeah, so as I said, like this, everything came out of Jamaica playing bowls from the expats that were playing in England. And through that, we've continued the relationship with all the players there who have the ability to represent Jamaica, in terms of passports, etc., that type of thing. Robert is somebody that has been playing on the circuit indoors for some time, and he's been doing pretty good at his club. So we thought it was good to give him the opportunity to go forward and represent the country. Horane has done well. She has played in a lot of unsanctioned events because, before we got sanctioned, they were playing a different event versus Holland, Cyprus, etc. So she has played in quite a those events, with those other guys in regards to bowls. So she's quite versed. The thing is, we want to expose people on the female side, and she has been supportive of our association, and she's also a pretty good bowler. So I think it's a good combination in terms of Robert and her going, and I'm hopeful that they can be competitive at the World Indoor Championships in Bristol.
Looking outside of the World Indoor Championships, are there other events that you see trying to send some Jamaican representatives to that might help, like World Bowls Championships or anything outside of that?
Yeah. So even after Merv and Angie competed in the Gold Coast, after that. We sent Merv to the singles championship. I think that was also in Australia. So whatever events that are on the calendar in terms of World Bowls, we'll always look to place our bowlers there to be competitive and to play in those those events. It just so happens that in regards to for Bristol, we have different people that we're given a chance to represent the country, and I'm sure at some point for the other events, comes their own, there'll be more of a whole scale team of everybody coming and playing and being a part of that. So yes.
That's pretty exciting to kind of look forward to all those different events and seeing Jamaica send teams or players to different events coming ahead here. It's always good to see different countries. The information I've been finding online there looks like you guys recently paired with Kukri for creating sort of a special, clothing for when you guys are going to be playing bowls. It looks like you might be wearing, if I'm not mistaken, it looks like you might be wearing the jacket right now.
I am. This is the logo. This is one of the jackets. Well, as I said, this came out of just some due diligence in terms of speaking to them. And they were very open in regards to partnering with Jamaica. They were doing some business with Canada, and through my conversation with the guy that's head of lawn bowl for Canada, I made contact with them and had the conversation. They're like, okay, fine, we'll do it, and we move forward on it. They did the designs, they sent it back, I approved it, and we decided to go on it. So. They'll be using these in Bristol. Officially, we'll have to go with the regular Puma stuff for the Commonwealth Games based on the fact that from the Olympic Association standpoint. But going forward, we're looking forward to this to be a staple in terms of World Bowl events that we'll of course use these, and they're available for sale. And Coker did a pretty good job in capturing the spirit of Jamaica and designs. And yeah, I definitely like them. And we want to get more people wearing them. Even if you're not a bowls player, you can definitely support us. And honestly, the main reason why I did this kit deal was the bottom line is that we're an organization. We're trying to get funds in to do a lot of things locally, and this is the option in terms of selling gear that can go back into the association so we can continue with development.
That's awesome to hear, and they do look good. I've looked at the website, had to take a sneak peek when we saw it, and I'm sure Mike did as well. So going forward, you've got the facility going, you're starting to go to events, you've got the branding and the apparel going. What kind of initiatives are you looking to do now to not only grow the sport, but really start to develop your athletes to compete at those high levels?
Yeah, I think even in preparing for the World Indoors and Commonwealth Games, what we've done is that we've been through the help of World Bowls, because as they've been instrumental. So we've been working with the high-level coach over New Zealand to actually help our current players.
Wow, nice.
So so Robert has been working with this coach probably like 6 or 7 months now in preparation, and Maureen has joined probably 3 or 4 months now in terms of technical things that would improve their game. So we're definitely working on stuff like that to make sure that, because we want our players to be better tactically and technically. Of course, we did get a win in the Gold Coast versus our top player, but if we develop, we want that to be as consistent as possible, based on the proud name that we have as Jamaica in terms of our athletic prowess. So that's the plan. It's a collaborative deal right now. Hopefully at some point, we'll be able to get more coaches in and probably have seminars in the country to help everybody that would want to play the sport.
No, it's nice to hear you guys have coaching involved, because Darryl and me both are pretty established coaches here in Canada. So we both really like the coaching proponent and trying to get coaches involved, because it's an important part of growing players. I guess we kind of touched on this earlier, but I guess for the future growth of Jamaica, for bowls in Jamaica, where do you see lawn bowls in Jamaica in 10 years?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. As I've told people, like, I'm responsible for the organization. Of course, I want more people playing. I know this sport is not a popular sport globally. So as I've told a lot of people, I'm not trying to make it a popular sport in Jamaica. My plan is to have a core group of people playing that can be as competitive as possible. So we can enter events, whether it's World Bowl events or at the Commonwealth Games. But long term, this is how I see it. We have one facility on the island. I think we definitely need more. I'm looking at a collaborative thing with the Jamaica Tourist Board and also the different tourist brands or hotels that we have in Jamaica to build that out. The main reason is that we're small. And I think if we can collaborate with the tourist board or even Sandals, one of those big entities to push the concept of persons coming into Jamaica to play balls, I think long term that can be great with our own facility. And I've had persons that have reached out to me that recently that came to the island and played, and he came to our facility. So I know if we market and push and we go harder, next 10 years, it can be an influx of persons who from all over the world to add to the tourism product, where it's bowls and tourism for our association for persons to come and play, and it will be good for everybody. Persons want to come to Jamaica, persons in the world want to play bowls with a facility that gears towards that gives them that type of environment. I think that's where I would want to be in 10 years and see more people coming into the island to play and participate in the sport.
That's awesome. I'd actually never thought of that. Obviously, tourism is a big thing in Jamaica. I know a lot of people that have gone and plan to go as soon as possible back to Jamaica because they love it so much. Seeing people come in and having lawn bowls facilities available just to try out some activity that they can do a couple times while they're there, that's fantastic. That's really interesting.
So that's how I see it in terms of 10 years, in terms of where I would like it to be. So, and we'll continue to work on that in regards to speaking to those bodies to make sure it can move forward.
Fantastic. Mike, do you have anything else you wanted to ask?
No, I just look forward to having some hotels with lawn bowls in it so that I can easily bring the wife and family down there for some lawn bowls and vacations in Jamaica.
Yeah, and like as I said, we have a facility right now. It's at It's at a hotel, small hotel. So if persons want to come and bowl, they can definitely contact the association if they're coming to Jamaica, and we give them that experience because it's an option right now. But so yes.
Well, Horane, thank you so much for coming on. We were really pumped to have you on the show to just open people's eyes to bowls in Jamaica, because I'm sure there's a lot that have no idea that there's a bowling facility there. It is an association. There's people that are competing out of the country. So this gives at least us an opportunity to showcase that to our viewers, and hopefully open a few more eyes to the fact that in the Caribbean, in South America, and Central America, there's the potential for some bowls growth there. So this is fantastic.
All right. I want to thank you for having me. It's a pleasure speaking to you. Obviously, we need platform like these to actually grow the sport here in the Caribbean. And thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us.